Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice. And today's episode, I think, is going to be a fascinating topic. Every now and then we get a guest come on who wants to talk about something that I've never heard of and I just think is totally fascinating. So buckle up with me. I just heard about this topic literally 5 minutes ago, but we're going to dive in and see how far we can get in about 15 minutes. I have a very special guest, Daniel Goddard. Did I do a appropriate American accent there? Welcome to the show and thank you for being here.
Yeah, you did a very good American pronunciation of my last name. So nice to meet you, Brandon. Hey, everybody.
Originally from Sydney, Australia. I totally butchered the proper pronunciation, but that's okay because that's what we do here in this country.
Yeah. I survived the spiders and the insects and the snakes and everything that can kill you in Australia to make it to the US to have this opportunity to talk to you. So thank you.
Awesome. I love it. So I don't want to waste any time here. I mean, this is, sure. We just started talking about this. You have a marketing agency, but then you started telling me about a new product you're launching, a new project you're working on right now. And I really want to dive in there. Give me this sense. I don't want to butcher it at all. So give me the sense of what this project is, first of all, and then we can kind of dive in and explore it.
Absolutely. So we have a AI networking company, and we have an application we're launching. The MVP will be out in a month. It's called Dysko. It's DYSKO. Website's dysko.co. There's also Dysko.ai would be the new iteration of it once we launch. Basically what it is, we've discovered that in the world of conferencing, for example, everybody goes to one convention. They walk in, they see all these booths, they walk around, they have no idea what's going on other than there's a light over there, there's a tent over there, there's a sign over there, there's a name tag on that person over there. So it's just the Wild West. So what we've done is we've created a piece of technology that allows anyone anywhere in the world to attend any convention, either there in person or by dropping into that location by physically taking your profile and placing it and pinning it at that GPS location. Then what you get to do is define who you are and what you're into with hashtags. So you can choose up to 100 social tags or 100 work tags. And then our algorithm then matches every single person either at that convention in the flesh or attending remotely, and then it connects you. So you and I might have 10 things in common. We might have podcasting, we may have business growth, we may have networking, but then also we have golf, chess, 10-pin bowling. So we add a personal aspect to the business experience because most people go to conventions as business, close deals, deal flow. So what we do is we allow you then to match with people that are not just into what you're into business-wise, but from a social perspective. And then the algorithm then matches you, and then we have an AI conversation that can then allow you to start talking to each other using AI-generated chatting based upon the tags you have in common. So the goal is to get to know people that are there for deal flow, but you have a personal connection to as fast as possible so you can get straight to deal flow. This also allows you then to attend, say, up to 10 conventions in one day. You could drop into, place your Dysko billboard, we call them, in Las Vegas Convention Center, in Sydney at the Sydney Convention Center, at the Tokyo Convention Center, anywhere. But you could be on vacation with your family or with your friends out doing something. You could be at Coachella. And then once you start getting these conversations taking place and you start matching with people, then it'll start pinging you and then you'll get to know what's going on. So get straight to the chase and start talking to the people that matter about the things that matter, getting the deal flow, but at the same time, I have the freedom to live my life while that's happening. So I don't have to physically fly, hotel, drive, park, walk around and do all that stuff. So it's a new technology. There is no competition to us. That's why we created it, because there's a hole in this space and we're plugging that hole.
Yeah, I mean, it seems interesting. And the first place my mind goes is, why would I ever go to something in person again? Which I'm sure you've gotten that question. You've probably asked it yourself. I'm thinking also from the exhibitor perspective, if nobody's coming, why am I here too? So how does this work? Like, are we migrating to the metaverse, so to speak?
That's an exceptionally good question. Great question. See, what it allows us in one of our business goals over in time as it'll pass along. Let's say, for example, right now you've got to go to a convention in Las Vegas. You got to pay X amount of $1,000 for the booth. Okay, you got to fly your team there. You got to set it all up. 25, 30, 40,000, $50,000 later, you hope you've done some business, hope you get some connections, hope you get some sales. What we let you do, for example, let's say it's a climbing convention. We let you say, you can host your own convention at the top of Mount Everest. What does that mean? Well, with Disco, you can say, I want to have a convention at Mount Everest. So you will enter Mount Everest, you'll place your Disco billboard on Mount Everest, GPS-wise, okay? And then you promote the climbing convention. It could be like, Brandon's, Boulder Beasts. That's what your climbing club's called, right? Next thing you know is that you send out through your social media, your advertising, whatever, come to Brandon's Boulder Beast climbing convention, Mount Everest. We're on Disco. So everyone then would basically enter Mount Everest, go physically, GPS-wise on the app to Mount Everest, and you'll see everyone who's there, everything you have in common, whether you're there remotely, whichever it will be, or you're climbing Mount Everest and you decide to get to the top and you have some cell service, you can attend in person. So it literally allows you to take away the need to create any convention space in the real physical world anymore. Everything can move to metaverse. Because at the end of the day, all you want is deal flow. All you want is the ability to make those work connections and those social connections that enhance those work connections. So why be there in person? Why spend the money? Why spend the time? And we have companies that say, well, you're sustainable, aren't you? And we say, yeah, like you'll reduce your carbon footprint by X. So therefore you get tax credits, you get this, you get that, because you're making a conscientious effort to reduce your carbon footprint. So there's multiple aspects that enhance the benefits of Disco from a sustainability point of view, and also just cutting straight to the purpose of why you go to any convention in the first place, which is create deal flow. So yes, the answer is in very short. Ultimately, you won't need to go anywhere in person.
Yeah, I mean,
again, the story. Yeah, it's like, yeah,
it's fascinating. So I know you talked about this being a networking solution, so to speak. It seems a lot bigger than that. I'm curious to go back to the beginning though. Like, what was the origin of this idea? What was it? Were you frustrated with going to conferences or not being able to attend? Was it the small talk you just couldn't stand anymore? What was it?
It's a great question. I began my career as an actor. I did over 1,000 episodes of soap opera on a show called Young and the Restless, and I've gone to hundreds of personal appearances around the world, but predominantly in the US. I've been to nearly every state. I've been to convention centers where they're hosted. I've been to the Comic-Cons. I've been to all this stuff. And you'll be standing there in a line signing autographs, and you'll have people come up to you and say, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met these girls here. It's like a bunch of girls who've come together. Like your show and your character and your storylines brought us together. So you'd start to realize that there's all these people out there that basically have everything in common with everyone that they'll never meet. So how do you bring these people together? Because right now, Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook, it's all about content posting. TikTok, constant content, just swiping. The only one that really is not about that is LinkedIn, but LinkedIn doesn't let me know who's around me. What do I have in common with anybody from a social and a work perspective? So we started saying, how do we take these strangers and never let them be a stranger ever again? How do we find these people? So what we ended up doing was, about 2 years ago, we launched the world's first augmented reality or mixed reality or virtual reality fan event. So where Young and the Restless it takes place mythically is a place called Genoa City, but there's really a Genoa City, Wisconsin, where it's based on. So we did a fan event where the cast members all dropped their Disco profiles into Genoa City, Wisconsin. Then all the fans went and dropped their profiles into Genoa City, Wisconsin. Next thing you know, everyone's matching and connecting. So fans who had the same storyline, same characters, same everything in common started connecting just like it was a fan event, a personal appearance. But they didn't have to go anywhere. And then all of a sudden, now they're forming groups of people who have the same thing in common. So the experience of watching the show is enhanced. But we can do that for anything. So that's where it came from. How do we bring people together? As the world's becoming more global every day, but at the same time, in that globality, it's becoming less familiar because strangers are now being poured into your existence So how do you get to that place where before, you grow up in a town, you have your church, you have your whatever, your school, everyone knows everybody. But now when everybody's being mass migration, it's like you've moved from Jersey, you're in North Carolina. When you get to North Carolina, you don't know anybody. You've got to start from scratch. Imagine before you go to North Carolina, you go to Raleigh, where you're based, you can drop your profile into Raleigh and be like, here's who I am, here's what I'm into. And you're going to be there in 2 months. You can start putting together a tribe of people that are just like you into the things you're into. So the day when you get there, you got friends that you can go out to the things you want. You can see the games you want. You can go to the restaurants you want. The dating market will crush the dating market. I mean, right now, Tinder tells you, do you like this? Do you like that? Do you like this? Do you like that? We allow you to define what you like individually. You could say, I like #underwater basket weaving. And then all of a sudden you find someone just like you, and it takes away that need to be able to meet someone, then the fear of talking. Because in the AI conversation, then we'll talk about between itself, the things you're into, and then you feel safe and comfortable. Next thing you know, you can FaceTime them. You can go back to old technology or call them or whatever. So that's where it came from, and that's where we see taking this in the future.
Old technology of FaceTime. I like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. While you were talking though, it kind of dawned on me, and I had this thought yesterday. I was sitting in church actually, and it's funny you mentioned that. And our friends were sitting a couple rows in front of us, and I had this thought. They've been there for the 2 years that we've been coming, but we only just met them a couple of weeks ago. And I was literally blind to the fact that they are there. And then I started looking around at all the other people. I'm like, I see these people. I physically see them. But I don't know them. I know none of them. And I don't even know where to begin.
I mean, prior to this, it was just Facebook groups. You join the Facebook group for your church, and then you'd chat to people in the Facebook group. And then when you go to church, you'd be like, oh, that's so-and-so. I talked to them the other day. You'd walk up, hi, how you doing? That's all you have right now to do that.
But
so Disco would allow you to sit in the church while you're physically sitting in the church. You would know anyone who's on Disco, they're around you. You'd start matching. You'd be like, oh my gosh, in this church, I physically have, say, 20 people that I have 5 things in common with, 8 things in common with, whatever it is. And then after church, it's straight away just meeting them face to face, and you already know what it is. So that's the goal. How do we bring people together faster and more effectively? How do we streamline the way that strangers can meet and find commonality?
Yeah, but I don't even think, like you mentioned Facebook groups. People don't do that. They don't message people out of the blue. It's like you have to have something first, which your product clearly solves and does a very good job at it. I think this is what maybe Facebook was designed to do, like originally, was connect people in a maybe quicker manner. But they've got, as you mentioned, and all social platforms they've gotten so far away from that. How do you prevent Disco from becoming just another one of the social platforms that are all about what you post and how you stand out? Have you thought about that long-term view?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's not our business model, in the sense that we're not about content creation. I mean, you can place your Disco billboard, which can be a video, whatever. Like you could place, let's say you're a stand-up comedian. You could take your profile, which could be a video of you doing your comedy with a deep link back to your website, and place it at the top of every comedy club in the US. So anyone who goes to a comedy club who's on Disco, who's into the jokes you're into, you can put what style of humor, what comedians you like, they can start matching with you, and then they can deep link back into your website. That's the business model. You can show content, but at the core of what we do is we're going to stay in our lane of presenting commonalities and matching people who otherwise would never have matched, and stay in that lane. Because once you can add your Instagram or your Twitter or your whatever you want to your Disco profile, so I can find you, match with you, and still go and look at that stuff. But that's not the core of what we do. And I think that because there's nothing in the market that does what we're doing, that's the mission statement and the use case of the business. Ultimately, our goal within the next year is to completely automate the human experience, where you can have your profile start at one end of Raleigh, walk to another area, and as it's walking and passing other people, it's basically you in mixed reality or you in virtual reality, and you can send it off. Send it to anywhere you want in the world, have it walk anywhere, go anywhere, do anything. Along the way, it's collecting commonalities, matching with people, and then reporting back to you. So that's the niche that we're going to conquer. So people can use it for posting content if they want, but at the end of the day, it's not what you're going to get Disco for.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think the product is fascinating. I can't wait to follow your journey here.
Thank you.
How the last maybe lighthearted, but also potentially quite serious question: how do you prevent all of us from becoming 800 pounds and never leaving the chair in our living room? Because it sounds like we may not have to anymore.
Yeah, look, I think that technology, from our perspective, is to make the human experience better.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, if it's about building relationships that matter and connections that will matter, I think you have to say, if you're going to be 800 pounds and never leave the house, you never would have left the house, and you'd be 800 pounds anyway.
I support.
If you're using it for a tool to go to a convention or to go to, like, you're going to go to university for the very first time. You're from a small town. You're going to go to, say, Southern University down Louisiana, and you're afraid because you don't know anybody. You don't know. You're going to turn up on your first day and say, "What do I do now? Who do I meet?" Our goal is to connect these kids and fix this issue of social anxiety disorder, which 35% of all college kids suffer from. Whether you're in middle school, high school, or college, there's a generation that is very, very, they're struggling. They're struggling with meeting other people like them. So the goal is just give them the tool that's going to allow them to say, I'm going to place my Disco billboard at the school. Other kids will place theirs there as well. Meet, match, connect, have conversations, meet you in person. So I suppose the only other flip side I could argue would support that would be when you meet them face to face, you don't want to be 800 pounds because they're going to be people that matter.
Exactly. Your profile picture is you nice and fit, and then surprise.
Right. Yeah. Surprise. So yeah, you can't hide behind, ultimately you can't really hide behind, look, you could use it to meet people but never meet them in person. That's fine. But the goal ultimately is to meet people, to have human connection. We're trying to bring the human connection or the humanity back into technology because everything else is stripping it away from it. Sitting on TikTok, dopamine scrolling, Instagram, dopamine scrolling, burning at your dopamine, burning it out and sitting there depressed. Okay, what do I do now? I'm going to eat. Next thing you know, you're 800 pounds.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think it solves the one thing that all other social platforms are getting away from, which is the human connection. And it does it in such a unique way. So I love it. I can't wait to see it. As of the day that this goes live, you have at least an MVP available. Who should go check it out, and where is the best place for people to go check out Disco?
Absolutely. It'll be available in the Play Store and the App Store. The app is for anyone who wants to meet people anywhere in the world who are into the same things you're into and be able to streamline the way you meet, connect, and integrate your personal experience into theirs. Like you could be sitting right now, for example, and say, I wonder if there's someone else in the world like me, because we have a global world search as well, where you can enter all the tags you're into, press the global world search. You might find someone in Helsinki, Finland. You might find someone in Tokyo. You might find someone in Africa, and you'll be like, I never would have met this person. I never, ever would have met this person. And oh my God, we have so much in common. I want to be able to talk to someone like this. I want to experience life with someone like this that you may never meet face to face, but they understand you because the things you have in common, the experiences you have behind you, and the dreams and ambitions you have of where you want to go are just completely on the same trajectory. So yeah, App Store, Play Store, or once again, the website will be disco.ai. And we look forward to, we're looking at probably a MVP launch in around mid-March.
Awesome. We'll make sure this airs after that has already happened. So
wonderful.
Just go there. Go find all those places. Wherever you're watching or listening, it's down below in the show notes. Daniel, I can't thank you enough for being here.
Brandon, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone. Take care. I wish you the best. God bless. Take care, man. Thank you.
We'll see you on tomorrow's episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Harmonious at Lunch podcast. Make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you're on, and we want to invite you to join us in the Small Business Success Facebook group, our private group where guests and listeners come together to grow your business. We want impact-driven entrepreneurs who are ready to go to the next level in this group so we can all share ideas, collaborate, and grow our businesses together. Go to whatif.com/group, and we want to invite you to join today. See you on the next episode of Harmonious at Lunch.